Welcome back to Grit Gym, guys. Welcome back to Grit Gym. I always say that twice. I don't really know why. But today's topic is about what to do when you feel sluggish, when you feel down, when you feel like your body's just tired, you're tired. And the reason that the thing that inspired this video today was because that's how I've been for like the last 2 weeks. I've just not taken the time to listen to my body, listen to what's going on. And I know a lot of people right now, it's fall in Iowa, things are, the days are getting shorter, everybody's kind of expressing, or a lot of people anyway, are kind of expressing this idea that they just kind of feel tired right now. This is kind of the tired time of year. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind that we really need to take into account when we're talking about the sluggish thing. When we're talking about, geez, I just feel sluggish. Because for one, you got responsibilities. Maybe you got kids, maybe you got a business, you got a job. You've got all these different things that are requiring you to show up and put in your absolute best. Now, when I say your absolute best, I'm not talking about your best in your best day. I'm talking about your absolute best today. So even today, like I'm feeling pretty sluggish. For me, this is really weird. This is this strange thing. I usually have a ton of energy. One cup of coffee will suffice me for an entire day, pretty much. And that's what we're going to get into here in a little bit is the different things that you're putting into your body, the way that you're treating your body, and how you can treat your body to actually get out of that sluggish state so that you can come back and you can hit your day hard and get in with all those things that are important to you that you have a responsibility to, like your kids, a business, a job, whatever those things are. Now, so what do you do when that slug hits you? When that slug hits you, when that's just like, well, for one, we have to take into account that your body does a lot of stuff, and your body is basically in a constant state of, on some level, just like in a constant state of war. It's constantly defending against infections, bacteria, virus, cancers, any kind of thing. Your body is constantly under attack and having to stay in this sort of this balanced position so that it can keep doing what you need it to do, right? Now, sometimes it starts losing that, and then you start feeling sluggish. That's your body's way of shutting you down so that you will go to sleep so that it can do what it needs to do. Just like pain. Pain is actually not a real thing. Pain is made up by your brain. Now, I'm not talking about your flu nonsense here. I'm not talking about like psychological stuff. I'm talking about actual anatomical brain creates pain in your elbow, let's say, so that you will not do certain things with that elbow so that you will not further injure yourself. And the same thing is going on here. The body is saying, shut down, take a nap, take a breather. We need a second to regroup. And then we're going to come back and hit it hard. So what do you got to do? For one, it's just like in a workout program. You have to stop and you have to assess this scenario. What is the scenario that you have to overcome? Okay, so one, we're going to look like I get somebody in that's like, man, I just can't get over this tired. I can't get over this tired. I can't get over this tired. Well, we got to figure out what's going on, what you're doing really well, and what you might not be doing so well to get over this stupid thing. And we have to take into account all of the kind of parameters of the situation. So the first one I always go to is sleep. You know, how many hours are you getting a night? If you're not getting enough hours for your age group, then that's a big problem. Certain people at different age groups are going to require more or less sleep, basically. But that 8 to 10 hour, that 6 to 10 hour, that's good for pretty much everybody. If you're really, really going hard, you're going to need 10 hours. If you're not going so hard, you're going to need you might be able to get by with 6 hours, but it's going to catch up to you eventually. And then also, we got to get into how are we sleeping while we sleep. So the quality of the sleep that we're actually having. The first two questions always when it comes to quality sleep: are you hitting the snooze button? And are you going to bed at the same time every night? It's easy to wake up at the same time every day. Your alarm clock's probably set on some kind of recurring time. You don't have to reset it every day. So you basically get up at the same time every day. But if you hit that snooze button, it gives you, 15, 20 minutes of subpar sleep that just helps you stay more tired throughout the day. And if you would have just gotten up at that time, then it wouldn't have been so bad. So how is sleep quality? If you're hitting the snooze button, that's not quality sleep. On a day when you hit the snooze button, that's not quality sleep. On a day where you don't go to bed at the same time, you want to go to bed, pick a time, 10, 10:30, 11. There's a few studies actually that came out a few years ago about what they found basically was that the more hours you have before midnight, the better. So if you, that's why I say every hour before midnight is worth 2 after midnight, because there wasn't just a total accumulation of hours. So if people went to bed at 1 and got up at 1 a.m. and got up at 9 a.m., that's still 8 hours versus someone who went to bed at 10 and got up at 6 a.m. Those are both 8 hours, right? So you would think, oh, okay, well, these people probably got, the same quality of sleep, the same amount of sleep, everything should be good, right? Well, they found that quantity of sleep didn't really matter near as much as and the big shift what happened when they started moving people earlier in the day. So if you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 6, this is a good time frame. If you go to bed at midnight and wake up at 6, now we've got a quantity problem plus some other stuff. So think about that. If you're hitting the snooze button, or you're not going to bed at the same time every night, that could be the thing. We also got to look at activity. Are we getting enough activity? This is, I think, probably people's more of people's problem than too much activity. If you're someone that just goes, your body's going to set you down at some point. But if you're someone that just kind of hits their workout every once in a while, you got to be hitting a workout. You got to be doing something every day to get your heart rate up, to get something going. It doesn't matter if you go in and you foam roll and do a warm up and leave, or if you go in and you foam roll, warm up, do a hard workout, and then try to do some cardio that night. That's probably a little bit too much in my opinion. But what kind of activity level are you getting? Are you getting enough or are you not getting enough? Are you getting too much or you're not getting enough? And either one of those is pretty subjective, right? So if you're working out every day, you're doing a good thing. Aaron says, what are your thoughts on sleep trackers, RE sleep quality? I don't know enough about them. I don't know if we, sleep trackers, are you meaning like the ones on your, like the apps on your phone, or the apps on your phone, or the ones that, the things that you put underneath your pillow, or the things you wear around your eyes? There's all different kinds of them right now that I've looked into. I've never used one. I've used because I don't carry my phone into the bedroom. Rachel used to use one, and it was kind of interesting. It basically just said when she would move around in the middle of the night, so I don't know how that actually worked, but I don't know if we know enough about about that to actually have a decent way of tracking it. But it's something to look into. I just don't know a lot about it, so I can't comment on it. But anyway, like when it comes to activity level and activity isn't just workouts, right? So activity, like if we have unnecessary activity, right? If we have unnecessary stressors from activity, like which is the next one that we're going to get into, is stress. Your body doesn't differentiate between stress. It can be a fight with your significant other, it can be a fight with your kids, it can be a hard day at work, it can be a ton of plyometrics, it can be an injury, it can be an illness, it can be an infection, it can be just hanging out with people that are super annoying. Body doesn't differentiate between stress. It can be someone cutting you off in traffic. The body doesn't differentiate between stress. So any kind of stressors are going to be stressing on your body. Now, we need a certain amount of stress, right? Because workouts are good stress, hopefully, anyway, if you're doing a good workout. There's plenty of bad workouts out there. But, okay, so you've got workouts, you've got other things like pushing yourself at work, pushing your mental muscles, pushing yourself in your mental growth. Those are all good things. Meditation is on some level probably a little bit stressful for people right at first, and at certain times as you're going through it. But some of that stress is good stress. We want some of that. And then there's just there's a fine line between tough and stupid, right? Adam likes to cross that line a lot. I don't know why I just talked about myself in third person, but it happened. So there's that. You can also, you could include coffee as a stressor. This isn't coffee, this is actually tea, because when I get really stressed out, it doesn't help me more to get more wound up and not be able to go. Motivation is never my problem. My problem is definitely just like my body is just shutting down. My mind is just shutting down. I'm not, like when I stop being able to do really simple math in my head, I know that I need to go take a nap. I need to shut down. I need to stop. But, stress. We have to take in it. We have to assess our stress. We have to assess our activity level. I think you should assess your relationships too. Where are you at in your current relationship? Because if you're not exactly where you want to be, there's a stress there. There's something going on there that you might not even know, that you don't know, that it is stressing you out. TV, what are you watching? What are you putting in your brain? If you're watching super dramatic, over the top TV shows, or with a bunch of cheap drama, or you're watching news stations which only have cheap, just garbage drama, if you're putting that in your brain, then that can be a stressor that you don't need. What kind of books are you reading? Are they feeding your mind with good, positive stuff to make you grow and to challenge you and to put that good stress on your body and your mind? Or are you reading stuff that's just a super downer? Which can get tough. That can be a tough subject, but what are you putting in your brain? If you're putting TV in your mind, well, you don't have to create the image that way. When you're reading a book, your mind creates the images. Your mind creates the story. Well, the story is in words, but your mind creates what it thinks is going on. When you watch TV, it's all done for you, so it's much more input. Whereas a book isn't really filling your senses. It's not filling your eyes and your ears. You're reading and it's more of an internal game. So it's a little bit of a different deal, and it helps you relax and it helps you go to sleep easier because you're using that portion of your brain. And then after you've given a good assessment, figure out which of these things are supporting the life that you want and which of these things are not supporting the life that you want. What are they? Because if you find the one that is supporting the life that you want, you need to feed that. And if you're finding the one that is not supporting your life, that is taken away from your life, you need to confront that. So if your relationship isn't quite where you want it to be right now, you've got to confront whatever might be missing, whatever might not be the thing that you want it to be where it is. If it's sleep, well, you got to confront that number. You know how to do that. Go to bed at the same time every night and wake and never hit that snooze button. The trick that I like to use is the alarm is not anywhere in my vicinity, is not in an area where I could reach it. Because I actually, you guys might not know this, I actually walk in my sleep pretty often. So I'll actually just wake up, completely turn off the alarm, go back to sleep if it was in my vicinity. So when my alarm is actually out in in a completely different room. So my reasoning for that is that if you remove yourself from the space that you sleep, it's like a mental thing. Your feet hit the ground and you've removed yourself from the place that you sleep. You have enough time to wake up in that little walk to go get your phone, and all of a sudden your brain starts to actually work, and it's like, all right, we're staying up, we're going for this, it's time. In my personal opinion, your bed is only made for two things: sleep and sex. Nothing else should happen in there. You should not do anything at all in the bedroom except for those two things. But confrontation is a very good thing, especially like in your relationships with if you're watching TV shows or cheap drama news that aren't feeding the life that you want, then you got to confront that and you got to stop watching them. If the book that you're on isn't supporting the life that you want to live, get through that stupid thing, read it as fast as you possibly can, and move on to something that is. Number 3, recovery. What kind of recovery methods are we using? Because we can, if we push for as hard as we possibly can for long enough, our body at some point wants a rest. It wants to back off. So we need to give it that. Now, there's 2 ways that I really like to do this. Well, there's actually 3. We do a program deload week at Grid Gym. And that's the first week of everybody's program, because it always takes longer to do the first week of everybody's program because everybody's learning the exercises, so they just don't get as many sets and reps in. If we try to do a full workout on that day, then it would take like 2 hours. So we cut the reps in half. We only do 2 sets of each exercise. Get accustomed to it. That's your deload week. It gives your body a time to rest, a time to recover, a time to back off a little bit so that we can come on stronger in week 2, 3, and 4. The other things that we can do, if we know that on a day that like today, like I'm feeling super sluggish, I'm trying to get my energy up for this video, but I have responsibilities just like you. And I said I'm going to do one of these videos every day, no matter what. Is just go in, foam roll, do your warm up. If you feel good after that, do your warm up again. If you feel good after that, go home. So do your warm up 2 to 3 times or 1 to 3 times. With the foam rolling before that, and call it a day. That's what I did today. I did my warm up 1 time, still felt like garbage, so I went home. And I never plan on doing a workout. Another thing that I like to do is just cut everything in half. A really simple one is just cut everything in half. If you have 4 sets on each one of your exercises for that day, you're only going to do 2 sets of each exercise. So it's kind of like that deload week, but it's just an easy way. You cut your weight and your sets in half. And then what are we ingesting? I talked a little bit about coffee before. Coffee gets us so wound up that, but at the same time, if you just keep pouring back coffee, at some point you're just Hey, we're back. You guys are still here, thanks. We got disconnected there for a second, but what are you ingesting? If you're just ingesting coffee all the time and you've made your norm this high threshold level, then your body isn't gonna, if you're looking for the liquid inspiration, it's not gonna happen at that point, so you gotta back off. I suggest switching to a tea alternative at that point. My favorite is a ginger tea. I like it a lot, and ginger has quite a bit of healing properties to it too, so which goes into other things you're ingesting, like food and supplements. To hit the supplement thing real quick, after the fact of being sick, your body is like, if you get a bacterial infection or a viral infection, that thing is replicated in your body millions and millions of times. So taking extra supplements after the fact probably isn't going to do a ton for you. It might help you out a little bit. And the two that I would really look to are zinc and magnesium, because they're both very soothing minerals. And when we are sick, we need to rest a little more and we need to rest a little better. So it would make good sense to have something that helps us relax a little bit, like a zinc and magnesium supplement. Zinc has also been shown to improve your immunity, and it has antimicrobial properties. So zinc is very good for you in this department. Otherwise, things like greens, CoQ10, you cannot deny fish oil, probiotic, and vitamin D. Those should be the top 3 of everybody's list, no matter what. But a greens drink will also help the alkalinity of your body, which actually helps you heal a little bit better. But still, after the fact of being sick, you're going to have a hard time coming back. You're not going to be able to supplement your way out of being sick. You need to rest. You need to recover. There are certain supplements that can help you do that, though. So what about food? How are we going to assess our food? Well, are you eating fruit? Are you eating vegetables? Those should be the top of your list, especially cruciferous vegetables and sulfuric foods just in general. But sulfuric foods would be in the vegetable part would be like mushrooms and onions. Cruciferous would be like kale, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower. What else would be in there? Basically in those in that department. So are you getting enough of those? Are you getting that good fiber? Are you getting those good nutrients going into your body? Are you giving your body what it needs to recover from this whatever's going on? You don't know what's going on. You just feel sluggish. You just feel really sluggish. You don't know what's going on. It could be that your body is stressed out for illness. It could be that your body is stressed out from being in too many fights with your spouse. It could be too many headaches from work. It could be any number of stressors. Your body, you just have to listen to it and then do something about it. And then we ought to go back to reassessing, what's working and what's not working. So when we get to the point of reassessing, I think of it like you just recharged, and if the recharge didn't work, what happened? Okay, so if you put batteries in your car, or you put another battery in a device and you hook it up wrong, it didn't work, right? So we've got to look at this. We got to look at how we recharged and did it work. So are you still hitting the snooze button? Then you're not getting quality sleep. Are you getting to bed at the same time every night? If you're not, then it's not quality sleep. If you are confronting things in your relationship, confronting things at work, confronting the tendency to watch dramatic TV shows and crappy news stations that are just filling your head with all this cheap drama that is a natural stressor, then it's not probably then those are the things that are not working, okay? Because we're not working it out, right? So in any of this, I think the better that we can recharge, the better we're going to be, because in the end, like this health game, the exercise, mindset, nutrition, recovery, it's to improve our health, and our health is our number one resource in our life, because we can't enjoy our relationships, we can't enjoy our time, we can't enjoy our wealth without health. I didn't really mean to rhyme there, but that was just kind of bound to happen, I guess. So we have to look to this recharge thing because all of us are going to feel sluggish at some point. And that is the end of my notes. So we might cut this short unless you guys have a ton of questions. But first thing always has to be that the realization that your body is always fighting something. Your body is usually fighting and succeeding, which is wonderful, but sometimes it starts to lose the battle and it needs you to knock off whatever to back off a little bit so that it could stock up its resources and go at this thing. Your body is constantly fighting against virus, bacteria, infections, cancers, all kinds of nasty stuff. So we have to assess our scenario. Are we getting good quality sleep? What kind of activity are we partaking in? Our relationships, where we want our relationships to be. We are relationship beings. The number one, think of when somebody gets put into jail, what's the number one form of punishment? We put them in solitary, and people go crazy in solitary. So we obviously are relationship people, or beings, and that's just the mammalian way, right? It's just how mammals work. And then what kind of, are we filling our minds with crappy TV shows and news stations? Are we reading books that support us? And then figure out what supports you in the life that you want to live. And if it is supporting it, then do more of that. And if it's not supporting it, then we have to confront it. And then with recovery, we got to realize recovery is where all the magic happens, all the health, everything, all the strength, fat loss, muscle gain, all happens in the recovery phase. So we have to program in this. We have to be smart about this. We have to listen to our body. There are certain days where just going in and warming up is enough. If you still feel like crap after you warm up, you need to go home, but still go in and do your warm up, unless you're just hacking up a lung on everybody that you see, because then you're just spreading whatever gunk it is in you. When it comes to ingesting things, supplements and food are certain things to really take into account. Zinc and magnesium can help you soothe out really well and help you relax. Zinc has a certain amount of immunity. Is it kind of like a natural immunity booster? I don't know if I want to say natural. I don't want to. Natural gets thrown around, I think, a little bit too much. I don't really even know what it means because it's been so overused over the last few years. Like, is it natural? Hemlock's natural and arsenic is natural. And I'm pretty sure cyanide is even natural. So is everything that's natural good for you? I don't know. I had this guy one time trying to sell me these supplements to house in the gym, and he's like, "It's straight out of the rainforest, man. It's got to be great for you." And I remember just feeling like kind of a smartass at the time, and I said, "So is Ebola." And he didn't appreciate it very much. He did not have the same sense of humor as I did. So that didn't go over well. But just because it's out of the rainforest, just because it's natural, doesn't mean that it's good for you. But zinc and magnesium can be very good things to help you soothe out, to have better sleep, or to relax a little bit. Greens can be something to help your alkalinity, to help you heal. But regardless, that infection or whatever that is just gone nuts inside your body, and you've got to give your body time to actually fight back against it. And then we have to reassess, and we have to, so that we know what to recharge with. Is it sleep? Is it relationships? Is it stress? It's obviously stress on some level, but what can we do about it? So anyway, that's what I got for today, guys. I hope you got something out of that. If you have questions, I'll always, if you're watching this now or you guys are watching it later on, oh, I like that face. I like that one. If you're watching this later on, please take the time, slap the share button, send this out to everybody that you know. If you hated it, you can still slap the share button, and then right in there, I'll get to see what it is, because I get to see who shares it publicly. If you share it publicly, I get to see it. But anyway, thanks for